Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. You know, it's generally agreed upon that a good jab in boxing is important. And throwing the jab is an integral part and a multiple purpose weapon in boxing. It can be a defensive weapon, it can be an offensive weapon. Sometimes I hear people say, you didn't throw the jab enough. You should have jabbed more. You were very effective with your jab. You need to jab more. I want to say a statement which some of you may disagree with me about, but I believe my statement holds true. If you solely depend on a jab to fuel your offense and even to help you with your defense in boxing, at the elite level, you make yourself vulnerable to people who have multiple skill sets and are able to nullify your jab. In the fight with Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather, it was said that Oscar was extremely effective with his jab against Floyd and then suddenly abandoned his jab in that fight. Lots of people said he should have thrown his jab more. I want to show you a couple things which will help you to understand that if you are basically depending on your jab at the elite level to win you fights, and you're fighting off of your jab, there are certain fighters at the elite level who will take advantage of that, and you may find yourself beaten or even knocked out. Let's start with our first example. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Austin Trout. Now everybody knows Austin Trout is a southpaw and he's a good jabber. Now in the 7th round, I want you to observe what Canelo Alvarez did to this good jabber. And he was doing it in rounds before. Canelo Alvarez had a shorter reach. He's a shorter, stockier fighter than Austin Trout. And Austin Trout continuously was using his jab, as he ought to. At the beginning of the 7th round, this is what happened. I am showing you in super slow motion because at real speed you may not pick up all the details. Trout does what he's supposed to do, and he throws his jab. Canelo parries it, but he did the right thing. Austin Trout threw his jab at Canelo Alvarez. That's what they teach you to do. Alvarez throws his jab at Austin Trout. But there's something else Canelo Alvarez did. He stepped into Austin Trout as he threw his jab. Trout takes a step backwards. Now, what happens next is what a lot of people never compensate for. They say, throw the jab, throw the jab. Now, I want you to see what Canelo Alvarez does. So I'm going to stop and start the plays. Watch carefully. Alvarez leans in and he's coming towards Austin Trout. Now watch what happens next. So Trout is going to throw that jab to offset Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez, you can see he's leaning in and he's charging in to attack Austin Trout. So the perfect thing for Austin Trout to do is throw the jab. And so what does Austin Trout do? Because he's trying to hit Canelo in his face to offset him, he throws the jab. What's the problem? Canelo Alvarez slips the jab, and he slips to the outside of the jab. As a southpaw, his power hand is here. When Canelo slips to the outside, not the inside of the jab, he's not vulnerable to the left hook. Now Canelo prompts Trout to throw the jab. If Trout didn't throw the jab, this wouldn't happen. He throws the jab because that's what you're supposed to do. Canelo slips the jab, Now watch what happens next. Because Canelo slips the jab, he goes inside of Trout and is able to land that straight right. So reach is not a problem anymore. And he drops Trout. I had to do this in super slow motion so you could see. Let's go to another great boxer, Manny Pacquiao. So we're watching Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley. He throws a jab at Bradley. Bradley takes a step back. Bradley throws a beautiful jab, as you ought to do in boxing, and then another jab to establish distance and to push Pacquiao back. You can see Pacquiao is very defensive right now. But something you are missing is that Pacquiao's lead leg is to the outside of Timothy Bradley's. Now, this is again conventional stance versus a southpaw. Just like Canelo Alvarez was conventional and Austin Trout was southpaw. Now watch what Pacquiao does that's similar to what Canelo Alvarez does. Since Timothy Bradley is orthodox, where does Pacquiao need to go so that Bradley doesn't hit him with his power punch? That's right. If Bradley throws the jab, Pacquiao must go to the outside of the jab. Let's see if that happens. Notice Pacquiao makes the move first, provoking Bradley to throw the jab. Pacquiao is making a move as if he's going to the outside of Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, just like Austin Trout, throws the jab. But Pacquiao does not intend on attacking Timothy Bradley. Why? Because his lead foot is not past Timothy Bradley's lead foot. He's just feinting to see what Bradley will do. Now, for anybody who says that's not intelligent boxing, then they don't know boxing. So let's continue. So, first thing, Pacquiao feints Bradley to see what he will do. Let's see what happens next. Now watch again. This time Pacquiao steps to the outside of Timothy Bradley. When Timothy Bradley throws the jab, which he knows is going to happen because he already made the head movement provoking Bradley to draw the jab, he slips to the outside of Timothy Bradley while loading up the straight right. He's basically the left-handed stance to what Canelo Alvarez just did to Austin Trout. Now Bradley's able to block the punch somewhat, but the punch still lands to Bradley's chest a little bit. Of course, Pacquiao does the evasive maneuver and ducks out the way. So, what I'm saying to you guys is, at the elite level, guys like Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and a host of other fighters like Guillermo Rigondeaux, they can slip the jab. And they know how to get dominant foot position on their opponent, slip to the safe side of their opponent, and land their power shots, nullifying your jab. Now that's just one way to nullify a jab that we just mentioned. There are many other ways. So if your only skill is based around a jab like Timothy Bradley's is, like Paulie Malignaggi, like Austin Trout, you're going to be in a load of trouble. I say this to let you guys know that there's more to boxing than just throwing more lefts or more jabs if you're an orthodox fighter. And go watch that Oscar De La Hoya fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. again to see what I'm talking about concerning the jab. Alright, you guys have a great day.